Part 61. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 601. At the same time, Nangongyan stopped what he was doing, and did not attack Shi Hehan again. Instead, he raised his head and looked at Su Yang, with complex eyes, asking for confirmation. Has the ancient martial arts revolution started? Not yet. Su Yang met Nangongyan's gaze and responded, but, it's only in my thoughts. I plan to kill you first, and then start the transformation of ancient martial arts. Use your blood to welcome the new ancient martial arts world that is coming, Su Yang said in a cold tone, with murderous intent in his eyes. Kill me. Nangongyan heard this and couldn't help laughing. Is it just you? You don't believe it? Su Yang raised his eyebrows. He. Do you know how many years I have gone through? How dare a young man like me speak arrogant words? Nangongyan did not take Su Yang seriously and said coldly, Su Yang, if I kill you now, will the ancient martial arts revolution be unable to start? Right. The fate of the ancient martial arts world depends entirely on me. Once I die, there will naturally be no follow-up to the ancient martial arts revolution. Su Yang said lightly, but, you don't have this ability. Su Yang. At this moment, Wan Konggyun, who was lying on the ground, suddenly said, don't be brave, don't talk nonsense to him, quickly start the reform of ancient martial arts, and let a new realm appear in the ancient martial arts world. By then, I am very confident. You can step into that realm in one step, which is the martial master realm that was agreed upon before. That's right, Mr. Su, don't act rashly. Nangongyan is already in the fake elixir realm and is above the foundation building. You can't be his opponent. Charity Master Tai also said, I am about 80% sure that I can directly step into Wuzun. Once I step into Wuzun, I can easily defeat Nangongyan. When the time comes, Nangongyan will be killed or chopped into pieces, as you wish. Amitabha. Abbot Yuantong was sitting cross-legged. His Buddhist power had disappeared, disappearing among everyone, and he was almost dead. He said weakly, Donor Su Yang, everything is based on the overall situation. The reform of ancient martial arts may allow me to regain it newborn. Su Yang. At this time, Qian Shangxiu's eyes fell on Su Yang, his eyes full of trust, and said, do it according to your own ideas, I believe you. Su Yang ignored the others, just nodded to Qian Shangxiu, and said gently, don't worry, Shuer, I have my own sense of discretion. Then, Su Yang walked off the round platform, with golden light all around him, and said in a cold voice, Nangongyan, come on, don't let me take action first, otherwise I'm afraid you won't even have a chance to take action. Arrogant. Seeing this, Nangongyan's face suddenly darkened, and he killed Su Yang furiously. Su Yang remained unmoved by this, with a faint smile on his face and no intention of taking action. Mysterious. However, Nangongyan was not fooled by Su Yang, and his offensive continued unabated, and his palm would soon hit Su Yang. Buzz. But at this moment, a metal wall rose from the ground, blocking Su Yang directly. Clang. The next moment, Nangongyan's palm hit the metal wall heavily, making a crisp sound. Immediately afterwards, Nangongyan was knocked back a few steps. After stabilizing his body, he opened his mouth and spat out a pool of blood. His arms went numb and hung down naturally, with bright red blood dripping down. What's this? Nangongyan was shocked and looked at Su Yang in surprise. Apart from the shock, his eyes were filled with fear. 5 elements continuous formation. It turns out to be a 5 elements continuous formation. Wan Konggyun stood up tremblingly. When he saw the metal wall appearing out of thin air, he suddenly thought of something and couldn't help but ask, Master Su, have you controlled the 5 elements formation in Wudang Mountain? Yes, Su Yang nodded without denying it. This. Wang Konggyun was stunned. When did it happen? It was just a few days ago, Master Wang, have you forgotten? Su Yang smiled softly. That's it, that's it? Wang Konggyun seemed to have thought of something, and then said, no wonder you were able to walk out of the spirit locking array unharmed at that time. The five elements continuous formation and the spirit locking formation are the strongest formations in Wudang Mountain. The five elements continuous formation is the main one and the spirit locking formation is the supplement. If you control the five elements continuous formation, you can naturally ignore the spirit locking formation. It's just, these formations were all left behind by the great man who reached the sky more than 100 years ago. Mr. Su, how could you control the five elements chain formation and the soul locking formation in such a short period of time? Wang Konggyun said. I can't understand it. I don't know, maybe some things are destined, Su Yang said. It's destiny, haha, what a destiny. Mr. Su, with you in the ancient martial arts world, we are destined to open a new chapter. Wang Konggyun couldn't help but laugh, turned to look at Nangong Yin, and said, Nangong Yin, the master of the five elements chain formation, can dominate Wudang, and no one can stop him under the nascent soul. Now you and Mr. Su are the best. What a world of difference. Five elements continuous formation. Under nascent soul, no one can stop me. Nangong Yin frowned slightly, his face suddenly changed, and he had a bad feeling in his heart, and he was about to escape immediately. Want to leave? It's too late, stay. Seeing this, Su Yang spoke with cold eyes, then raised his head slightly the next moment. Buzz. In an instant, raging fire suddenly appeared and enveloped Nangong Yin. The metal wall just now was the golden spirit array in the five elements array, and the fire at this time was also the fire spirit array. Ah! Nangong Yin instantly turned into a burning man. No matter how high his spiritual energy was, he could not extinguish the fire around him. He screamed in agony and was eventually burned to ashes without any bones. As for Jun Wu, he had already run away when he saw Su Yang using the five elements chain formation. He came to Wudang Mountain for something and wanted to take it away in the chaos. But now it seems that there is no chance at all, so taking the best option is the best option. Ali wanted to chase him, but was stopped by Su Yang. Let him go. This Jun Wu is not at the point where he must be killed, Su Yang said. Yes. Ali nodded and returned to his human form, standing respectfully behind Su Yang. Leader Su. Leader Su. Leader Su. At this time, many ancient warriors at the scene were extremely excited when they saw Su Yang easily killing Nangong Yin. They shouted Su Yang's name, and for a moment, the mountains roared and the tsunami roared. All right. Su Yang raised his hand and pressed it down, signaling everyone to stop. For an instant, the place was silent. Immediately afterwards, Su Yang looked around, his eyes swept over Fu Ma, Millennium Killer, the five brothers of the Duan family, 11 Louis, Xiang Ziliang, and others, and finally landed on Shi Hehan not far away. At this time, Shi Hehan's body had returned to normal size, his face was extremely pale, he was increasingly listless, and he was dying. At this moment, Shi Hehan also looked at Su Yang. He didn't even have the strength to speak. He just showed a kind smile, so pure. The next moment, Shi Hehan closed his eyes, his breath gradually weakened, and he was about to die completely. Shi Hehan. Su Yang was moved and called out Shi Hehan's name, immediately injecting spiritual energy into his body. But if this continues, it won't help. Shi Hehan was too seriously injured. In addition, after performing the Taishan magic technique 100 times, his body's muscles have collapsed. Now, there is only one way to save him. Su Yang stopped his hand, no longer wasting his efforts, but looked up to the sky and said, "Give me the ancient martial arts revolution, start it." The next moment, the situation between heaven and earth suddenly changed. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 602. Shi Hehan is about to die. Even if Su Yang inputs spiritual energy into his body, it still can't change this outcome. Because Su Yang practices spiritual energy, while Shi Hehan follows the ancient martial arts system and practices true energy. There is no communication between spiritual energy and true energy. However, Su Yang can transform the spiritual energy into true energy to heal the injuries of the ancient warrior. But Shi Hehan was too strong. Even if Su Yang converted all the spiritual energy in his body into true energy at the peak level of land martial god, it might not be effective. Besides, it was impossible for Su Yang to transform his spiritual energy into true energy in such a short period of time. In Shi Hehan's case, only by suddenly receiving a powerful and vast energy can he have a chance to gain a chance of survival. But this is difficult to do. Enlightenment is possible, but several old guys at the scene were seriously injured. Even if they are at their peak, they cannot give up all their skills in order to save Shi Hehan. Therefore, enlightenment is unrealistic. For the current plan, Shi Hehan may be able to save his life only by starting the reform of ancient martial arts. According to Wan Kong Gaiun, after the ancient martial arts revolution begins, Su Yang will receive the gift of the revolution and have 10 places, which can allow those around him to step into a new realm, which is the martial arts realm. Since he can enter the martial master realm in one step, a huge amount of true energy will inevitably flow into his body. This is Shi Hehan's opportunity. Su Yang had complicated emotions towards Shi Hehan. From beginning to end, he had no good impression of Shi Hehan, and even regarded Shi Hehan as an enemy. Just because Shi Hehan took away his mother Shi Yuyan and separated their family of 4. Su Yang had made up his mind before that he must go to the place of Feng Chan to make a big fuss and rescue his mother. If anyone dares to stop him, he will show no mercy. But just now, Su Yang never expected that Shi Hehan would activate the Taishan magic skill and protect himself desperately, which moved Su Yang very much. Given Shi Hehan's condition, as long as he used Taishan's magical power, he would be in a certain death situation. After all, Taishan's magic power is limited to 100. But he still used it resolutely, and even used his flesh and blood to form a wall of flesh to stop Nangongyan and buy Su Yang precious time. This moved Su Yang, and his impression of Shi Hehan changed dramatically. He began to get to know Shi Hehan again and was willing to accept his grandfather from the bottom of his heart. Therefore, Su Yang didn't hesitate at all and directly started the reform of ancient martial arts, changing the ancient martial arts world. Buzz. At this moment, the sky was surging with wind and clouds, thunder and lightning were crisscrossing, and accompanied by loud rumbling noises, the scene was very grand. Swish, swish, swish. The eyes of everyone at the scene fell on the sky, witnessing history with bated breath. Su Yang, on the other hand, kneaded the secrets with both hands, and the golden light from his body gradually poured into the sky. This lasted for about half a minute before Su Yang stopped what he was doing. At this moment, the sky above, which was once turbulent, began to calm down, and everything returned to normal. However, today's ancient martial arts world is completely different from before. It has changed. Gyu's transformation has really succeeded. Haha, I feel that there seems to be a new realm above the land martial god. This is a development in a good direction. What realm is above the land martial god? I have entered the early stage of the land martial god, and I have vaguely noticed the difference in the ancient martial arts world. I broke through, ha ha ha, I was stuck at the peak of Tianzone for so long, and I finally broke through to the early stage of Shenzone. I have also made a breakthrough. In the early stage of Tianzone, I am finally no longer a weakling in the realm of earthly sect. Many people have made breakthroughs. It seems that the ancient martial arts revolution is distributing benefits to the vast number of ancient martial arts practitioners. Thank you to Alliance leader Su. If he hadn't started the revolution in ancient martial arts, the ancient martial arts world would not be prosperous. Thank you, leader Su. Thank you, leader Su. Thank you, leader Su. For a time, 70% to 80% of the ancient warriors on the scene had improved their realm and taken a step forward. They all gave Su Yang expressions of thanks, their eyes full of respect. The realm after the land martial god is the martial lord realm, followed by the martial saint, and after the martial saint is the martial god. At this time, Su Yang's body was still shining with golden light, like a god, and he said calmly, "The end of the ancient martial arts system is the martial god realm. Remove the prefix land and become a true god. Although I am a cultivator, I have noticed that the ancient martial arts system is not weak. Regardless of ancient martial arts or cultivation, the end result is the same, which is to make cultivators stronger." Su Yang said angrily, "I believe that within 100 years, there will be martial saints on earth, or even ancient warriors in the realm of martial gods, who will shock all the star regions." As soon as these words came out, everyone at the scene was excited, including Wan Konggyun, Charity Master Tai and others. They were all short of breath and full of expectations for the future. Immediately afterwards, they sat cross-legged in public, planning to take advantage of this opportunity to try to break through to the martial master realm. As for Abbot Yuan Tong, who was originally seriously injured, he had already put his hands together and meditated with peace of mind. His situation is better than Shi Hehan. As long as he enters the next realm, the previously lost Buddhist power will return and his injuries will be healed. Gift. Is there a quota of 10? At this time, Su Yang's eyes fell on the dying Shi Hehan, and he said seriously, "Then give him the first spot." Whoosh. Next, with a thought in Su Yang's mind, the golden light around him separated into a ray of light and penetrated into Shi Hehan's body. The golden light on Su Yang's body is not simple. It possesses huge power and is the key to the 9 transformation formation. Just now, he injected the golden light from his body into the sky and completely started the transformation of ancient martial arts. After successfully activating it, there is still some golden light left around Su Yang. These are the so-called gifts, which can be used to appoint 10 ancient warriors to help him reach the sky in one step. At this moment, Shi Hehan, who was originally on the verge of death, suddenly sat up after receiving the golden light, his face became better, and his breath gradually stabilized. Click. Immediately afterwards, a small sound was heard. I broke through. Martial Master Realm, is this the Martial Master Realm? Sure enough, there is a different world, ha ha ha, cough. Shi Hehan was overjoyed and couldn't help but laugh to the sky, but then he spurted out a mouthful of blood, which obviously affected his injuries. Shi Hehan, congratulations on becoming the first martial master in the world. Su Yang's eyes fell on Shi Hehan and he said. Although his impression of Shi Hehan had obviously changed, he still couldn't say the word grandfather. Thanks. Shi Hehan's eyes also fell on Su Yang, with a complicated expression, and he didn't know what to say. You are out of danger. Just adjust your breath. There are still 9 places to reach the sky in one step. I will give them away one by one. Su Yang smiled softly, having already made up his mind about the next place to be promoted to Martial Lord. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 603. Shwe. At this moment, Su Yang looked at Jian Shangxiu beside him and said with a gentle smile, although you approached me with a purpose in mind, what happened between you and me is true. Besides, you gave birth to a pair of children for me, which is a kindness to me and a kindness to the Su family. Su Yang said with gratitude, this second quota is given to you. Whoosh. The next moment, a golden light entered Qian Shangxu's body. In an instant, Qian Shangxu's body soared into the air, his whole body shining brightly, his true energy surging, his 3,000 black silk threads swaying in the wind, and his clothes fluttering. In just 2 or 3 seconds, Qian Shangxu successfully stepped into the realm of martial master, becoming the second person in the world to do so. Su Yang, thank you. At this time, Qian Shangxu fell to the ground smoothly, smiled at Su Yang, and said happily, I didn't expect you to be so dazzling now, Su Yang, the man I like is indeed right. I have been carrying the heavy burden of Jufeng Mountain for a long time, and I am almost overwhelmed. Now I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. The big stone in Qian Shangxu's heart fell. What's the use of saying thank you? Su Yang glanced at Qian Shangxu and said with a playful smile, come to me tonight. I hope that from now on, it will no longer be your responsibilities and burdens that overwhelm you, but me. Fuck. Leader, are you driving? It's no longer responsibility that overwhelms you, but me. Haha, this car is driving at 6. Even if the people from the anti-pornography office come, they can't do anything to the leader. Everyone at the scene heard Su Yang's words clearly and burst into laughter. Su Yang, what are you talking about? Qian Shangxu rolled her eyes angrily at Su Yang, with 2 blushes on her beautiful face. Ha ha. Su Yang smiled softly, and then said, Shwe'er, you need to slowly feel the changes in your body first. Next, I will give away the 3rd place. Qian Shangxu nodded and stood behind Su Yang obediently. The 3rd quota. At this moment, when Wan Konggyun heard this, he was extremely excited and couldn't help but secretly said, given my relationship with Mr. Su, are you still not allowed to give me the 3rd spot? The martial master realm, haha, it's so cool, but this is just the beginning. Based on my current state, there is only a few % chance that I can enter the martial lord realm at this time. However, I will definitely be able to enter this realm in as little as 1 month and as long as 3 years. Originally, the place to reach the sky in 1 step didn't mean much to me, but the gift of the ancient martial arts revolution can also improve the talent and change the physique, which is full of temptation. Master Su, thank you for giving me this opportunity, ha ha ha. Wan Konggyun felt that Su Yang would definitely make him reach the sky in 1 step. After all, among these details, he talked to Su Yang the most and even took Su Yang to the attic. The more he thought about it, the happier he became. He had finished his meditation state and stood up, intending to receive the baptism of golden light and thank Su Yang at the same time. The 3rd quota is given to Jiangbei Li family, Li Feixuan, Su Yang suddenly said. Whoosh. As Su Yang finished speaking, a golden light split out and headed straight to the north. Well. When Wan Konggyun heard that Su Yang didn't mention his name, his expression suddenly froze, slightly embarrassed. After reacting, Wan Konggyun secretly said, Li Feixuan, I know that when I was investigating Mr. Su's information, I had a rest. Li Feixuan is Mr. Su's fiancée. They have a good relationship. There is nothing wrong with giving her the 3rd spot. Thinking this way, Wan Konggyun felt much better and was full of expectations for the next spot. At this moment, Jiangbei, Riverside Villa. Li Feixuan stood in Su Yang's room, staring blankly at the empty bed where Su Yang had slept, her eyes full of longing. Su Yang, how many days have you been away and you don't even know how to call me back? Do you know that I'm worried about you? How are you doing now? You shouldn't be in any danger. Su Yang, wait for me. After you left, my grandfather also taught me the methods of cultivation. Now I am also an ancient warrior, although I have only just developed the engine realm of Genkai. Li Feixuan gritted her teeth and clenched her fists and said, "But I believe that as long as I work hard, one day I will become very strong and won't hold you back. Then I will protect you." Concubine Li was talking, and suddenly, a golden light poured into her body. Buzz. In an instant, a powerful wave of Genkai erupted from Li Feixuan's body, and the entire riverside villa was destroyed and turned into ruins. At this time. But now Su Yang felt that he had succeeded in reaching the sky for the third time, so he was a little lucky. Su Yang nodded, then changed his words and said, "The fourth spot is for my sister, Su Jingguo." Opposite her was an overwhelming enemy force, roughly estimated to number at least tens of thousands. Among the crowd, Wudan Wanye, Buddha Ziiwaji, Zhao's Hiruo, Du Fei Yang, and many other talented people all had the idea of reaching the sky in one step. Whoosh! China, the Western Territory. But even Master Charity and Abbot Yuantong had finished their cultivation and looked at Su Yang longingly. The golden light on his body did not split out, so naturally it was impossible for Shi Yuyan to reach the sky in one step. 10 spots, I'm so worried. Who should I give the fourth spot to? But the reception was successful. It seems that concubine Xian has not been idle these days. She must have been practicing ancient martial arts on a whim. This is fate. This time, the golden light decomposed and burst through the void like a meteor, disappearing instantly. This was Su Yang's position, but Su Yang was not interested in it. However, Su Jingguo had a strong sense of family and country. This gift only has an effect on ancient warriors. Fei Xian is not an ancient warrior, but an ordinary person. Logically speaking, he cannot accept the baptism of golden light. In an instant, everyone's eyes fell on Su Yang. Su Jingguo was fighting to the death with soldiers from several countries in the west. The soldiers around her had been killed and injured, and she was the only one who was still standing. Just now, he regretted the decision after making the third spot. In recent days, the western border has not been peaceful. Those countries in the west intend to encroach on the borderland. Next to him, Wang Konggyun looked at Su Yang eagerly, wishing he could ask Su Yang to give him a place. After all, Wang Konggyun is the leader of the Tianji sect and has a distinguished status, so naturally he can't pull off this face. Just like that, under the spotlight of everyone, Su Yang looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle and said calmly. It happened that the Western Territory was in turmoil, so Su Jingguo led the 3 armies to the Western Territory. Wudan Mountain, above the ruins. Your mother is no longer an ancient warrior. After I took her back to Mount Tai 5 years ago, she has disappeared from everyone and her body has lost all her true energy. Shi Hehan, who was adjusting his breath and recuperating from his injuries, said. The fourth spot is for my mother, the place of Zen, Shi Yuyan. At this moment. Swish, swish, swish. At the same time. Su Yang murmured to himself. Su Yang showed a smile and murmured to himself. A few days ago, Su Jingguo received a summons from Kyoto and was ordered to go to the capital. She met the Emperor Long Xingtian and was given the title of Commander Su to take charge of the 3 armies. I see, no wonder it didn't work out. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 604. Su Jingguo, you have no way out. What Sushui, he, is just a person who is just trying to gain fame and reputation. Take your life. Opposite Su Jingguo, as the enemy general spoke, countless people rushed over, their eyes filled with murderous intent. On the battlefield, there is no humanity, either you die or I live. This time, I'm afraid Su Jingguo had reached the end of her strength and her breathing was not steady. When she thought about her fate, she fell silent and looked sad. But the next moment, Su Jingguo's eyes flashed, and she said with determination, I am the god of war of the Jin kingdom, and I am Sushui. The blood of the Chinese kingdom flows in my body. Even if I die, I will protect this land. Die in battle, die well. With this thought in her mind, Su Jingguo became more motivated and mobilized all her strength to actively attack. Boom! But the next moment, she was knocked to the ground by several enemy masters, spurting out a pool of blood. Haha, Su Jingguo, you have killed hundreds of our people, and you are already exhausted? Stop struggling, I will give you a good pleasure. An enemy general stepped forward with a ferocious face, intending to directly kill Su Jingguo. It's over. Grandpa, father, mother, little brother, I hope you have a better life. I will watch you from heaven. Su Jingguo lay on the ground, dying, calmly accepting the fact of defeat. Whoosh! But the next moment, a golden light suddenly broke through the air and penetrated into her body. Buzz! The next moment, Su Jingguo opened her eyes and felt that she had received an astonishing baptism, and that she had a terrifying power in her body. Well! At this time, the enemy general who came over and wanted to kill Su Jingguo slapped his palm over, and when he came into contact with the golden light around Su Jingguo, he immediately let out a painful scream. Immediately afterwards, his body directly turned into blood mist at a speed visible to the naked eye. That's right. In an instant, his body was shattered into pieces, transformed into a living person, and evaporated directly. What? What happened? Am I hallucinating? Terrible, what a terrifying power. This scene instantly detonated the scene. Tens of thousands of soldiers were trembling in fear, and the scene became a mess. Then, led by several other generals, these people began to escape. There was no way, Su Jingguo was too weird at the moment, and the aura exuding from her body was beyond their understanding. Snort. Is the territory of China a place where you can come and leave whenever you want? Now that you're here, let's all stay. Those who enter our country, China, should be punished in 3 ways. If they should be punished, they must be executed. As she spoke, Su Jingguo suddenly took action, releasing the power within her body and sweeping the entire audience. In an instant, it was like a nuclear bomb detonating with precision, targeting only enemy soldiers. In just one breath, tens of thousands of enemy soldiers, including those generals, were all killed. No one could escape Su Jingguo's punishment. The last execution is already executed. It should be punished, it must be punished, it has been executed. Su Jingguo's face was gloomy, her expression was cold, and she showed no mercy. When these people stepped into the territory of China, in the eyes of the Chinese soldiers, they were no longer humans, but beasts. What happened to my strength? After finishing all the opponents on the battlefield, Su Jingguo looked at her palms, her eyes full of doubts. What is the origin of that golden light just now? Now, what state am I in? Have I reached the Shen zone? Su Jingguo knew the realm system of the ancient martial arts world, but he didn't know that he had entered a new realm at this moment, the martial master realm. At this moment. Wudane Mountain. Have you forgotten the nightclubs we went to together and the songs we sang together in those years? Following Su Yang's thoughts, the next moment, Shi Jushin began to receive the baptism of golden light. At the end of the sentence, Wang Fugui's eyes turned red and he looked at Su Yang resentfully. Su Yang nodded, then his eyes fell on Wang Fugui, then moved away and looked at Zhang Magu next to him. At this point, Wang Fugui became aggrieved and said with a resentful face, "You are a heartless, stinky man, and you don't miss the old relationship at all." Dad and Grandpa had given up on the ancient martial arts system some time ago and switched to the cultivation system. Naturally, they were unable to accept the baptism of golden light. Mom has lost her true energy, is not an ancient warrior, and cannot accept the baptism of golden light. Let's not mention it for now. People are selfish. There is no doubt that these 10 places must be given to your own family first. Now you are awesome. You have become the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and started the reform of the ancient martial arts. With such high decision-making power, one thought can make people reach the sky in one step. But in the end, you ignored me. Buzz. Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Old cousin, you did this beautifully, I'm very touched." Shi Jushin smiled and said, "Cousin, I won't say anything, and I'll treat you to a drink when I'm done. Have you forgotten the clubs we went to together and the technicians we ordered together in those years? Are you pretending to be with me? Now, Qin Shangxiu is born, Li Feixuan is born, and Sister Sujingguo is born." Su Yang met Shi Jushin's gaze and joked, "Besides, even if I don't give you this place, if something happens to me in the future, will you still be able to take it?" As for his two children, they are still young. Giving them strong power at this time will not do them any good, so it is naturally ruled out. Good. I saw the scene just now. You knew you were no match for Nangong Yin, but you used the Taishan magic skill without hesitation to block the main hall. Fuck. Haha. I have been with you through so many ups and downs. Didn't I accompany you all the days and nights when you were lonely? In addition to these close relatives, Su Yang thought of his eldest cousin Shi Jushin. 21 years, exactly 21 years, we have been childhood sweethearts since childhood. Therefore, Su Yang did not hesitate and gave the fifth spot to his eldest cousin Shi Jushin. Martial Lord, is this the new realm of the ancient martial arts system? Forgot, you forgot. After giving out the fourth quota, Su Yang stopped and began to weigh the next quota. When Wang Fugui saw this, he immediately became unhappy. "Young Master Su, you are ungrateful, treacherous, and unloyal." In just a few seconds, he reached the sky in one step and successfully entered the realm of Martial Master. Wang Fugui gritted his teeth and said, "Young Master Su, please carefully calculate how long we have known each other." "What the hell?" Su Yang asked confused. "Haha, cousin, you're welcome. You and I are cousins. Besides, you've taken great care of me these past few days. Saying thank you would be too disrespectful." Feeling the huge power in his body, Shi Jushin was extremely excited, and then his eyes fell on Su Yang, and he said gratefully, "Cousin, thank you for your great kindness today. If you have anything to do in the future, just ask, no matter whether you can do it or not, it's their duty to do so. My eldest cousin is really good to me, at least he treats me sincerely." Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 605. Su Yang was stunned. Everyone at the scene was also confused. "Wow, is it so exciting? Piss off. I'm doing business right now, don't disturb me." Su Yang rolled his eyes at Wang Fugui, but still explained, "You are a cultivator. This gift quota can only be given to ancient warriors, so you were passed." "So that's it?" Wang Fugui nodded in sudden realization, and then asked, "Young Master Su, after accepting the gift, you will step into the martial master realm, right? How strong is the martial master? Can he be better than me at the 9th level of Qi training?" Martial master is equivalent to a cultivator in the Dan formation realm. If you tie 100 of them together, they won't be able to defeat an ancient warrior in the martial master realm, Su Yang said casually. Fuck. So strong. Wang Fugui was immediately surprised, rolled his eyes, and then asked, "Young Master Su, is it still too late for me to change to the ancient martial arts system?" Roll. Practice well in ancient martial arts, and you will be more talented in the path of cultivation. Su Yang muttered, then looked at Zhang Magu next to him, and said with a smile, "Brother Magu, you just ignored life and death and blocked the hall. Now, it's my turn to repay you." As soon as these words came out, everyone at the scene looked at Zhang Magu, their eyes full of envy. Zhang Tianli, in particular, was extremely excited and extremely proud. My grandson is good friends with the leader of the alliance, and he has even become a master of martial arts in no time. He is a glorious figure in the family. No, no, no. Unexpectedly, Zhang Magu waved his hand and refused. Young Master Su, you have avenged my sister. I can no longer repay your kindness. I can't take this quota. I will save it for someone closer to you. You don't even risk your life for me. We are brothers who have died. I give it to you, don't refuse. Su Yang said firmly, and then he thought, the sixth spot belongs to Zhang Magu. This. Zhang Magu was a little embarrassed, but it could be seen that he was full of desire to advance to the martial master realm. He just felt that Su Yang was too kind to him and he deserved it. Buzz. But at this moment, the golden light had already entered his body. Soon, the baptism was completed, and Zhang Magu was directly promoted to the martial master realm. His true energy was powerful and terrifying. Immediately afterwards, Zhang Magu looked at Su Yang with a complicated expression, his eyes were red, and he didn't say much. He just clenched his fists heavily at Su Yang, saying nothing. After giving away 6 places, the golden light on Su Yang dimmed a little. Next, with his whole body shining with golden light, he strode to Fuma and Qian. Fuma. Su Yang looked at Fuma, who was seriously injured, and asked with concern, is your injury not serious? Can't die? Fuma met Su Yang's gaze and said with a pleased smile, Master, you are doing great now. If your great-grandfather knew your current achievements, he would be very happy. Momfu, you surprised me. I knew that the Su family had someone with a certain background, but I really didn't expect that this person would be you. Su Yang showed a smile, and then continued, okay, let's not say so much for now. The 7th opportunity to reach the sky in one step is given to you. Wait a moment. Fu Ma shook her head and said, Master, I don't need it, you gave it to someone else. No need? Why? Perhaps you don't know that your great-grandfather was my master. He had a total of 10 disciples back then. Ximen Fenjian, who now occupies Kunlun, is his eldest disciple and my senior brother. Fu's mother said, it's a pity that Ximen Fenjian was so ambitious that he betrayed his master and the Su family. Hey, it's okay not to mention these things. Anyway, you have to know that your great-grandfather is my master. I am deeply influenced by him and firmly believe that man can conquer nature. Fu Ma said confidently, I can step into the realm of martial master by myself, so why do I need to rely on external help? Oh well. Su Yang could tell that Fu Ma was serious, so she didn't insist. You do not want? Don't give it to me. If you want to give this treasure away, you can give it away. If you don't want to give it away, why bother with Schwerer? I finally know who that little bastard Suzink is following. One is stealing my treasure, and the other is trying to rob me of it. Hello, I've heard Schwerer mention you before, and I've admired your name for a long time. Su Yang smiled in return. Be good to Schwerer for the rest of your life. No matter how many women are around you, never abandon her. Qian Sha suddenly became serious. You must also know about my relationship with Schwerer. I should also be called Grandpa. Su Yang, hello, my name is Qian Sha, and I am Qian Shan Shue's grandfather at this time. Qian Sha took the initiative to greet Su Yang. Rob. At this moment, Su Yang's eyes fell on the treasure among the Millennium Killers, and his eyes suddenly lit up, and then he said, Grandpa Qian, I really need this treasure in your hand, can you give it to me? Ha ha. What's the matter, Grandpa Qian, please tell me. Su Yang smiled. After hearing this, Millennium Killer showed a smile and said, you kid, just tell me if you want something in my hand. Why tie it to the quota of reaching the sky in one step? This is Schwerer's grandfather, a relative of his own, so he must not be neglected. Ha ha, Any famous name is just a false name. Qian Sha said seriously, as long as you promise me, why not give this to you? I know it's not appropriate to make such a request when we meet for the first time, but I am really determined to win it. What the hell? I won't give it away. When Su Yang heard this, he suddenly showed an embarrassed smile and whispered, then I will have to grab it forcefully. I'll give you this treasure. I don't need that quota either. Like Miss Furong, I don't want to accept external pressure. However, I need you to promise me one thing. Turning around, he looked at Su Yang, and suddenly thought of another question, and asked curiously, you didn't finish what you said just now. What will happen to you if I don't give you the treasure? Grandpa Qian. Bah, there is no good person in the Su family. Haha, it's okay, young man, I hope you can do it. Wang Konggyun, who was not far away, almost couldn't help but speak directly after hearing the conversation between Fuma and Su Yang. Su Yang responded, I am good to swear, not because of this treasure. As soon as these words came out, Qian Qinche's expression instantly froze and his face darkened. That's almost it? Mr. Su will probably give the 7th spot to Qian. Then it's almost my turn. After all, I did a lot just now. I am your child's grandfather, and you want to steal my things. Wang Konggyun stroked his beard and pretended to be calm. Although he was anxious inside, he looked calm on the surface. I also know the importance of this thing to you. Don't worry, I will let you continue to have the peak combat power of Jufeng Mountain and give you the 7th place. Qian Sha waved his hands indifferently, but in fact, he was very proud of himself. Su Yang added, in this way, no matter whether you have a treasure or not, you can intimidate the world. Although Su Yang did not directly answer the question of the Millennium Killing, the Millennium Killing already has the answer. Is there still King's Law? Is there still Heavenly Law? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 606. After the slander, Qian Qinche quickly shook his head. After all, these are real relatives. It would be inappropriate to say that they are not things. But they, father and son, are really not the same thing. Grandpa Qian, I accepted this thing. It is very important to me. Thank you for the gift. Su Yang took the treasure and confirmed that it was indeed the 4th floor of the Void Tower. Then, with a thought, he put the object into his storage ring, planning to pick it up again when he had time. Subsequently, Su Yang looked at Qian Sha and asked again to confirm, Grandpa Qian, are you sure you don't want this golden light? Qian Qinche nodded, then looked at Abbot Yuantong, Master Charity and others, and said with a smile, not only do I not want it, I think they won't want it either. After all, we are all old. It doesn't mean much to get this opportunity. We might as well leave it to young people. Millennium Killer continued, young people, the road ahead is long. After being baptized by the golden light, their achievements will be limitless. They can lead the ancient martial arts world to new glory. We, after all, are old and can't do it anymore. Abbot Yuantong, Master Charity, Master Wang, are you right? Qian Qinche asked with a smile. As soon as these words came out, everyone at the scene looked over, wanting to know the answer. Abbot Yuantong, Master Charity and especially Wang Konggyun all had slight expressions on their faces. Accept the baptism of golden light, reach the sky in one step, and be 100% directly promoted to the martial master realm. Moreover, the physical talent will be improved, and the future is really promising. Therefore, it is impossible for Abbot Yuantong and others to say that they have no idea about Jingguang. But Millennium Killer said these words, making them embarrassed to open their mouths and accept the baptism of golden light. Ba, Kinlao Alliance leader is right. Abbot Yuantong struggled for a few seconds, and finally clasped his hands and said, "The old monk exhausted his Buddhist power this time, and he should have passed away. The ancient martial arts revolution has begun. The old monk was lucky enough to save his life, and he was a blessing in disguise. With your strength, you will have the opportunity to step into the martial master realm. The opportunity to receive the baptism of golden light is extremely rare. It should be given to young people. After all, they are the future of the ancient martial arts world," Abbot Yuantong said. "I agree." Seeing that Abbot Yuantong expressed his opinions, Charity Master Tai could only express his position. "I don't want this quota, give it to young people." You. When Wan Kong Gaiun next to him saw this, his expression was slightly complicated, and he glanced at Qian Sha with resentment. "What the hell? You old man. You are noble, you are great, you don't need the golden light, but we do. What are you trying to do? Why do you stand on the commanding heights and make decisions for us?" "Master Wang." Qian Sha looked at Wan Kong Gaiun and smiled softly, "What's your opinion?" "I." Under the eyes of everyone, Wan Kong Gaiun finally compromised and nodded, "You are right, young people need the baptism of golden light more than us old guys." "Well." Millennium Killer showed a smile, and then said, "Su Yang, you decide who should be given the remaining 4 spots." Su Yang nodded, then looked at Master Wan Kong Gaiun and the others, clasping his fists and saying, "Everyone, thanks to your intervention earlier, you bought me precious time. The success of the ancient martial arts reform is due to you. Don't worry, as the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, I will naturally not chill your hearts." Su Yang continued, "Please find Xue later and ask for my contact information. I will refine some elixirs for you in the next few days, which can help you break through to the martial lord realm faster without any side effects. For masters such as Master Wang, Master Charity, and Abbot Yuantong, who are at the pinnacle of land martial arts, receiving the baptism of golden light is indeed a waste." Su Yang added, "If you can't break through to the martial master realm in a short time, you can succeed in less than 2 days by taking the elixir I refined." Really, Wan Kong Gaiun became excited when he heard this. Su Yang nodded and said with a smile, "As the leader of the Gwu Alliance, I guarantee that it is absolutely true." "Haha, okay, Mr. Su, no, Leader Su, then I will wait for your elixir." After receiving the confirmed reply, Wan Kong Gaiun felt much better. He stroked his beard and a smile appeared on his face. Abbot Yuantong, Charity Master, and other people present also became happy. After settling this matter, Su Yang walked to the 5 brothers of the Duan family. "Meet the master." Duan Qingming clasped his fists and bent down, and said respectfully, "Congratulations, master, for achieving your wish." "Congratulations, master." Behind Duan Qingming, the other 4 brothers of the Duan family clasped their fists and saluted together. Su Yang nodded lightly, and then said, "Thank you for your hard work. As a reward, I decided to give the 7th place to one of you. Duan Qingming, you are already at the pinnacle of land martial arts, and you are not an ordinary peak. You are only 1 step away from the martial arts realm. If you are not sure, just wait to eat the elixir I refined. This quota, I don't think about you." Su Yang continued, "You are the eldest brother among these people. Choose one of your 4 brothers." "Yes." Duan Qingming had no objection at all to Su Yang's arrangement, and was even very happy that his brother could actually get such a precious spot. After thinking for a moment, Duan Qingming looked at his 3rd brother Duan Qingsheng and said, "Third brother, you are the most knowledgeable among our 5 brothers. This spot is given to you." "No, no, no." Duan Qingsheng quickly waved his hand and said, "Eldest brother, let's give it to the 2nd brother. The 2nd brother is stronger than me and he is the most qualified." Third brother, there is no one more suitable than you. Listen to the elder brother. The second eldest brother of the Duan family also advised. Third brother, just listen to the two brothers and don't waste master's time. Third brother, if you don't accept it, then none of us 5 brothers will accept it. The fourth and fifth eldest children of the Duan family opened their mouths and said they were not jealous of Duan Qingsheng at all. The relationship between the 5 brothers is really good. There is no intrigue or intrigue. This. Duan Qingsheng looked at his brother with emotion and didn't know what to say for a moment. This, the 7th spot is given to you. Seeing this, Su Yang thought and passed a golden light to Duan Qingsheng. Buzz. In an instant, Duan Qingsheng was illuminated by golden light and stepped into the realm of martial master, exuding terrifying power. Then, he immediately faced Su Yang, knelt down on one knee, clasped his fists and said respectfully, "Thank you, master, for your magnanimity and giving me such a precious opportunity regardless of past grudges. From now on, my life, Duan Qingsheng, belongs to you. If you are in danger, I will bear the brunt." Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 607. Duan Qingsheng was sincerely grateful to Su Yang. At first, he had some misunderstandings with Su Yang, and even wanted to take away the Su family's void tower. But Su Yang ignored the past grievances and didn't argue with him, and even helped him reach the pinnacle of land martial arts. Now, Su Yang has allowed him to reach the sky again and become a master in the martial master realm. This made Duan Qingsheng completely surrender to Su Yang, both physically and mentally. Therefore, after setting foot in the martial master realm, he was loyal as soon as possible. "Well, get up." Su Yang raised his hand, then withdrew his gaze and looked at Wudane Wanjai, Foziwiji, and a group of geniuses from the ancient martial arts world. Now there are only 3 places left, and Su Yang is wondering who the places will be given to. Alliance Leader Su, I am Gong Tianxiang of Wuyi Mountain. From now on, I hope that only Alliance Leader Su will act accordingly. I am Huang Yifeng of Qinbei Mountain. I admire Alliance Leader Su's broad-mindedness and am willing to obey Alliance Leader Su's orders. Union Leader Su, I am Hengshan Han Sanqian. I have no education and am just a rough guy. From now on, if Alliance Leader Su asks me to go to the left, I will never go to the right. In short, as long as Alliance Leader Su says a word, mountains of swords, seas of fire, and ice caves of oil can be destroyed. I will break through it. Many talented people were extremely excited when they saw Su Yang looking over. Some people hurriedly flattered him and expressed their willingness to follow Su Yang. Obviously, they all wanted a spot for the golden baptism. But, in response, Su Yang just smiled and did not choose from these people. After all, there were only 3 spots left, and Su Yang didn't want to waste it. Although the golden light baptism can change the talent, it is certain that the better the original qualifications, the stronger the talent will be after being baptized. Mrs. Hiruo. At this time, Su Yang's eyes fell on Zhao's Hiruo from Mount Imei, and he showed a faint smile. Since Su Yang did not accept Zhao's Hiruo's overture last time, now, when facing Su Yang, Zhao's Hiruo was a little humble and did not dare to look directly at Su Yang. "Mrs. Hiruo, a few days ago, you gave me the accessories of the lotus sword. Although you lost the bet, I accepted your favor after all." Su Yang continued, "I once said that I would repay you, so I will give you the 8th spot." Zhao's Hiruo was stunned and said excitedly, "Master Su, are you sure you want to give it to me? I am not your relative, nor your woman, nor your servant, you." As Zhao's Hiruo was talking, Su Yang had already begun to operate. The next moment, a golden light penetrated Zhao's Hiruo's body. Immediately afterwards, in the eyes of hundreds of envious eyes, Zhao's Hiruo completed her transformation and directly advanced to the realm of martial master. Thanks for the accessories. Su Yang showed a smile, and then walked towards the 3 o'clock direction. He had already made up his mind about the 9th place. Master Su. Feeling the change in herself, Zhao's Hiruo looked at Su Yang's back with a confused face and was stunned. Hey, this Su Yang is simply a arsonist with a sweet heart. He always inadvertently stirs up Hiruo's heart and commits crimes. Not far away, MRS Charity saw the scene and sighed deeply. She couldn't help but started to sigh and murmured to herself, "Don't talk about Hiruo. If it were me when I was young, I would probably not be free." Independent random thoughts. Hey, forget it, let them go. Hiruo is already at the martial master realm. It's up to her to do whatever she wants. I, an old guy, can't control it anymore. At this moment, in full view of everyone, Su Yang walked up to Lan Miaoi and looked at Lan Miaoi with his eyes. Master Su. Lan Miaoi met Su Yang's gaze, performed a palace ceremony, and then smiled and said, "Congratulations, you not only won the first place in the martial arts competition of hundreds of sects, but also started the reform of ancient martial arts, and even took control of Wudane Mountain, a series of formations. It seems that I underestimated you before. I guess even if I release the death energy in the evil spirit stone, you will be able to stop me thinking of this." Lan Miaoi smiled bitterly. Miss Miaoi. Su Yang smiled softly and said, "In the future, if I protect you, you don't have to worry about being remembered. Can you give me the evil spirit stone?" Good. Lan Miaoi did not hesitate at all. With a thought in her mind, a stone exuding death energy appeared in her hand, and then handed it to Su Yang. "Thank you. Ximen, Long Yin. But there is a time in life that must be there, but there is no time in life. Don't force it. I have no destiny with it, little monk." Su Yang smiled and nodded, then looked around the audience and said, "There is still one spot left, Taoist Master Wang Ye, Buddha Master Wuji, who wants it among you two?" Su Yang. Buzz. Along with the sound, Lan Miaoi directly stepped into the realm of Wuzun, and the terrifying power shocked the entire audience and made people feel heart-stopped. But he had his own pride and would not take the initiative to ask Su Yang, so he left the scene after leaving a word. "Perhaps by turning on the evil spirit stone, you can enter the cultivation system, but in my judgment, it is more appropriate for you to enter the ancient martial arts system. Su Yang, the person who has a grudge against you is my ancestor Ximen Fenjiun." "Of course not," Lan Miaoi solemnly promised. Su Yang looked at Ximen Longjian with a playful smile on his lips. Upon hearing this, Abbot Yuantong did not complain about anything, nor did he feel sorry for Wuji. There was no expression on his face. He had obviously guessed his junior brother's decision. This kid can do it. With his ancestor, he dares to kill for real. He is very enlightened. Wang Ye followed his master, a little greedy, and sincerely wanted to be baptized by the golden light. "Disciple, you are confused." Wan Kongyun next to him sighed deeply when he saw this. P.S. Thanks to Xiu'er, who loves chaos, for the reward. Thank you all for the gifts. Creation is not easy. I hope you can support me a lot and watch the free video. If you can, I will give you a small gift. Please. Seeing this, Fozawuji thought seriously for a few seconds and finally refused. "The 8th spot is given to Zhao's Hiruo because I owe her a favor. The 9th spot is given to you because you are born in the divine sect and have excellent qualifications." Su Yang said seriously, "Enter the Tao with martial arts, and when you reach the end, you can still hold the sun and moon in your hands and step on the stars. You don't have to look at anyone's face to become the strongest Valkyrie in the world. Give me the last spot." Those geniuses or old antiques who had been thinking about her all showed a hint of fear and lowered their heads subconsciously, for fear of being retaliated by Lan Miaoi. Ximen Longjian said seriously 5 times that in order to reach heaven in one step, he would disown all his relatives. Give it to Wuji, it's of no use to me. Su Yang heard the voice was familiar. He looked at it carefully and sneered, haha, Ximen Longjian, your Ximen family and I will fight to the death. Tomorrow I will even enter the Kunlun Mountains and destroy the entire Ximen family. What do you want? Do you think this quota is possible? Master Su, Lan Miaoi put away her power and looked at Su Yang gratefully. Moreover, Su Yang, I can swear that as long as you give me your last spot and let me step into the realm of Martial Master, I am willing to kill Ximen Fenjiun for you and destroy the entire Ximen family with my own hands. At this moment, an urgent voice sounded in the crowd, and then a tall figure walked out. Ximen Longjian stopped, his eyes were full of longing for the golden light on Su Yang's body, and he said, everything is caused by him and has nothing to do with me. You and I have no deep hatred. As the saying goes, the grudges of a generation, it's been a generation, and you shouldn't regard me as your enemy. That's good. Damn it. You don't need to thank me. I am the leader of the Gwu Alliance. When I give orders in the future, just don't go against me. Su Yang smiled softly. After saying that, Su Yang did not hesitate and gave away the 9th place for the ancient martial arts transformation. Su Yang put the evil spirit stone into the storage ring, turned to look at Lan Miaoi, and then said, Miss Miaoi, you have been so sad in your life. I took away your trump card to become stronger. If I don't help you, some of them are unjustifiable. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 608. Swish, swish, swish. As soon as Ximen Longjian said these words, everyone looked over, their eyes full of contempt. Damn it, this Ximen Longjian is so cruel. He actually said such words just to be baptized by the golden light. If a person is not ruthless, he cannot stand firmly. Ximen Longjian has nothing to do. Now the descendant of the Su family is the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance. His methods are all powerful. There are so many martial arts masters around him. If the alliance leader comes to Kunlun, what can the Ximen family do to resist? That's the truth. Ximen Fenjiun, the ancestor of the Ximen family, is only at the peak level of foundation building. He ran away before the ancient clan came. Naturally, he cannot compete with the alliance leader. But Ximen Longjian proposed to destroy his family with his own hands. It is treasonous. It's okay. When Ximen Fenjiun betrayed Senior Su Wuzi, what good things could he cultivate? Don't talk about Ximen Longjian. If it were me, I might make this choice. The weak will prey on the strong. Everything is forced. Everyone was talking about it, but not surprisingly, they all had no favorable impressions of Ximen Longjian. Ximen Longjian. At this time, Su Yang's eyes fell on Ximen Longjian, and he smiled softly, from what you say, do you want to take refuge with me? Yes. Ximen Longjian knelt on one knee, clasped his fists with both hands and said, Su Yang, Alliance Leader Su, I hope you can accept my surrender. I will not let you down. As long as you step into the realm of Martial Lord, you will definitely use Ximen Fenjiun's head as your repay. He he. Hearing this, Su Yang sneered, that's unnecessary. I will take Ximen Fenjiun's life myself. However, I can agree to your request. There is no harm in giving this 10th spot to you. Su Yang looked at Ximen Longjian and said in a deliberately long voice, but... Alliance Leader. Ximen Longjian was so excited that he hurriedly said, if you have anything to say, it doesn't matter. I can promise you anything. Haha, it's simple. You must be very aware of the family tradition of your Ximen family. I have no reason to believe what you say. Su Yang smiled playfully, what if you are baptized by the golden light and step into the martial master realm, and then turn to attack me. So, just in case, you must sign a master-servant contract with me. From now on, you will be my slave. I can decide your life or death with just one thought. No idea of yours can escape my perception. Su Yang said calmly, if you agree, you can accept the baptism of golden light now and become the 10th martial master realm master. Good. Ximen Longwo did not hesitate at all, and immediately agreed without blinking an eyelid. That's okay. After receiving a definite answer, Su Yang kneaded the secrets with his hands and quickly formed a soul contract, and at the same time successfully signed a contract with Ximen Longjian. So far, as long as Ximen Longjian lives, he will always be checked and balanced by Su Yang, and he will never be able to escape from Su Yang's shackles in this life. If he has the intention of betrayal, Su Yang can easily make his soul fly away in the next moment. The reason why Su Yang gave the last spot to Ximen Longjian was after careful consideration. First, Ximen Longjian is a member of the Ximen family. If he takes action to kill everyone in Kunlun Mountain, he can torture Ximen Fenjian psychologically and achieve the purpose of revenge on Ximen Fenjian. Secondly, and most importantly, there were many forces involved in the destruction of the Kunlun Su family back then, and they were all closely related to the Ximen family. Su Yang was too lazy to wrangle with those people, so he simply asked Ximen Longjian to be the executioner and kill all those people back then. A truly awesome person never fights and kills by himself, but is good at making use of the various forces around him. Although this Ximen Longjian has bad conduct and ulterior motives, he is actually a good sword when used properly. Su Yang was convinced that, bound by the soul contract, Ximen Longjian was just his puppet. This kind of soul contract, let alone the earth, even in the Xiantian star territory where the civilization of cultivators flourishes, almost no one can break it, let alone the little Ximen Longjian. Owner. At this time, Ximen Longjian didn't care about face at all and knelt directly in front of Su Yang, his eyes full of respect. Now, he has reached the martial master realm, reaching the top in one step. Su Yang nodded and said coldly, don't forget what you said. If you can't do it, I will make your life worse than death. Let me remind you, now, I can sense any thoughts you have at the first time. Don't try to double deal with me. You can't do that with me, Su Yang said solemnly. Yes, Ximen Longjian nodded with his fists clasped, his eyes full of respect. Su Yang nodded again, then looked away, looked around the audience, and said, everyone, the 100 sex martial arts competition has ended. You can leave Wudane Mountain one after another. If anything happens, I will send people to famous mountains to inform you as soon as possible. Su Yang continued, also, you don't have to worry about the forces that participated in the destruction of the Kunlun Su family. I don't like to kill everyone, so I'll just wipe out the section. However, everyone involved in that matter must die. The corner of Su Yang's mouth raised, and he said in a deep voice, I hope you can take the initiative and hand over the people involved. Maybe I will consider letting your sect go. If someone is hiding and covering up, ha ha ha, then don't blame me for being rude. Once found, no one from the whole sect will be spared, Su Yang whispered with a serious face. Immediately afterwards, Su Yang, Qian Shan Shui, Fu Ma, 1,000 Years Kill, Wang Fugui, Shi Jushan, Shi Hehan, Zhang Magu, Zhan Tianli, and many others disappeared from everyone's eyes. The golden light on Su Yang's body had already dissipated when he sent the last one. Now, as a gift from the ancient martial arts revolution, all 10 places will be given away. The first place is Shi Hehan. The second place is Qin Changxiu. The third place is Li Fixuan. The fourth spot is Sujingguo. The fifth place is Shi Jushan. The sixth place, Zhang Magu. The seventh place is Duan Qingsheng. The eighth spot is Zhao's Hiruo. The ninth place is Lan Miaoi. The 10th place is Ximen Longjian. These 10 people are either Su Yang's relatives, his women, his friends, or his subordinates. For the current Earth, the Wuzun realm can be regarded as an absolute powerhouse. Su Yang naturally wants to control this power in his own hands, so be selfish. After all this tossing, the sky darkened and night fell. Wudang ancient town was full of laughter, and all the ancient warriors were very excited. For the ancient martial arts world, today is undoubtedly an excellent day. The transformation of ancient martial arts was successful, and a new path emerged above the land martial arts. The ancient martial arts world will definitely become more glorious, so many people in the ancient town are singing and dancing, making it very lively. Su Yang and his party were in a good mood and were chatting and having barbecue together. On an autumn night, the breeze is not dry, everything is just right. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 609. At this moment, Su Yang, Shi Jushin, Wang Fuegui, and Zhang Megu were 4 young people sitting together drinking. Wudane Wanjai, Buddha Ziwiji, Zhao Zhiruo, Du Fei Yang, and other geniuses were also nearby. Yesterday, I was just like them. I was still a young talent. Now, who would have thought that I have reached the martial master level? Shi Jushin drank a little too much and suddenly started to sneer. He sighed and said, "Hey, I haven't experienced Shenzong, land martial god, and 1 step to the sky. After all, I lack too much. I miss the joy and excitement of many breakthroughs. Who among you can understand this feeling?" It can be seen that Shi Jushin was actually extremely happy in Versailles. However, he pretended to be in pain on the surface, and then said, "If you give me a chance to choose on my own, I will definitely refuse the golden baptism like Wang Ye and Wu Ji did. The feeling of climbing to the sky in 1 step, is really, it's so boring. It's so cold at high places and it's so boring." As he spoke, Shi Jushin picked up the wine glass and drank it all in 1 gulp, his eyes flashing with intense pride. As soon as these words came out, Wang Ye, Wang Fuegui, Du Fei Yang, and many other talented people suddenly looked at each other. Especially Fozawiji, he instantly felt that the chicken drumsticks in his hands were no longer fragrant. Amitabha. Wu Ji held a chicken leg in 1 hand, his face covered with oil from eating, and chanted the Buddha's name, "Almsgiver Shi Jushin, life is always full of surprises, but every step is the best arrangement. You don't have to worry too much about advancement and breakthroughs. The fun of reaching the sky in 1 step is something that many people can't envy." Hey, I understand everything you said, but this is really uncomfortable. I don't want to suddenly become so strong. It's a pity that God's will makes people, who can understand my pain. Shi Jushin sighed again, pretending the temperament aspect is very good. I can. Master Shi, I can. At this moment, another forced king appeared on the stage. Zhang Megu was sitting on the big animal skin drum. He was also drunk and said sadly, "My current situation is the same as Master Shi. Hey, Wu, the realm of respect is too strong, so I have to be careful everywhere. Now I don't dare to breathe too much, for fear of injuring you." As soon as these words came out, not to mention Wang Ye, Wang Fuegui and others, even Shi Jushin, who was showing off just now, was stunned and looked at Zhang Megu in surprise. It seems to be saying, "Brother, you win in terms of showing off. Nima, pretend to be your boss." Wang Fuegui, who was next to him, couldn't bear it any longer. He gritted his teeth and said, "Isn't it just to advance to the martial master realm? What's there to say? Sooner or later, I will step into the Dan formation realm and beat you to death." Wang Ye had a good temper. He ate quietly and didn't say much. Amitabha. Seeing this, Wu Ji persuaded him, "Donor of wealth and honor, be careful and avoid being angry. You are famous for being rich and honorable, and you will definitely be rich and powerful in the future. Don't worry about the present. Fuck you, you are rich and powerful, I can't hold it in anymore, show off my will. Wang Fuegui was still cursing. Wuji was ready to persuade Wang Fuegui again, but at this time, Zhang Magu suddenly said, Fozi, we fought some time ago, and I forced you back, but I know that you were merciless at that time, and for 3 years since you haven't practiced yet, why don't we compete now? Brother Magu, what's the comparison between you two? Shi Jushin, who was next to him, said sternly, Wuji Buddha is so weak, I think you can crush him to the ground with just one finger. Stop competing, it's a waste of time. Su Yang put his arm around Qian Shangxiu's shoulders and smiled softly, after all this is done, we will go to Jufeng Mountain together to see what the disaster is in Jufeng Mountain. Finally, we will go back to Jiangbei to find Fei Xian. Ba, poor monk, Cao Numa. Shuer, why do you ask this suddenly? Su Yang asked curiously. In this regard, Su Yang was a veteran. He held Qian Shangxiu's body with dishonest hands and always touched her randomly, which made Qian Shangxiu's face burn. Su Yang, do you remember that I told you that there was a great disaster in Jufeng Mountain? Good. Qian Shangxiu nodded gently, her face turned red as Su Yang hugged her. It's hard to imagine the exciting scene of Foza sitting in a bar booth, with his legs crossed, a cigarette in his mouth, and his little sister in his arms. Su Yang, can the power you used when you killed Nangongyin today be mobilized at any time? Suddenly, Qian Shangxiu asked curiously. Qian Shangxiu explained, what I think is that it would be great if you could always use that power, which could increase the chance of solving the disaster in Jufeng Mountain. Qian Shangxiu nodded and did not continue the topic. Instead, he said, Su Yang, now that the Wudang Mountain matter has been resolved, what are your plans for tomorrow? Zhang Magu said proudly, Buddha, don't worry, I will fight you with one finger. If you use one more, I will lose. No. Su Yang smiled and did not join the topic, but quietly left with Qian Shangxiu. Fozawuji realized that he could hardly speak, so he quickly clasped his hands and kept silent. Shuer, don't worry. With me here, there will never be any problems in Jufeng Mountain. Haha, it is said that a Buddhist monk returned to secular life for 3 years without foundation. During this period, he smoked, drank, and had his hair permed. I didn't believe it before. But now that I hear this national quintessence engraved in my bones, I believe it. Haha, in the wilderness, Mr. Su, you two are really good at playing. Shi Jushin and Zhang Magu have stepped into the realm of martial masters. Who can beat them? At this moment, an evil voice suddenly came from the distance, and then, a tall and broken body came out of the darkness. Su Yang and Qian Shangxiu were standing under an ancient tree, very close to each other. The Buddha in Bodhi Mountain actually started to curse. This scene was so strange that it immediately attracted everyone's attention. The two of them came to the outside of the ancient town together. It was relatively remote here. The breeze blew through the leaves, making a rustling sound, and the insects kept chirping. However, all the energy was consumed by opening it before. Now I can no longer start the 5 elements chain formation. At this time, Fozi had no basis to say something high-sounding, but when the words came to his lips, they turned into expletives. First go to Mount Tai, pick up my mother, and then go to Kunlun Mountain to avenge the martyrs of the Su family and regain control of Kunlun. Su Yang shook his head and said truthfully, at that time, I activated the 5 elements chain formation in Wudang Mountain, that's why I have such strong strength. Well, Twilight Drum Donor, that's not what I meant. I wanted to say, fuck your uncle, no, 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 I wanted to say, fuck, Ba. Well. Haha, you've had enough to drink and eat. After all, it's just idle time. Why not bully the former genius? How fun it is. Okay, I admit that it's wrong for Buddha to scold people, but I feel very comfortable. I should scold them. Who can give them both a good beating? Su Yang showed a smile, and then took the initiative to put his hand on Qian Shangxiu's shoulder. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 610. Hearing the sound, Su Yang frowned immediately and moved his eyes to look over, his eyes full of vigilance. I saw a tall old man striding over and stopping 5 meters away. This old man was in ragged clothes, dirty, and had multiple wounds. His blood had coagulated and was even a little black. Not only that, some of his flesh and blood was also missing, and his left arm was gone and empty. Especially in the chest area, a hole the size of a fist was directly exposed, and the heart disappeared. This injury was supposed to be fatal, but the old man was still able to walk and talk. Su Mo. Suddenly, Su Yang saw the old man's face clearly, and unexpectedly discovered that this man turned out to be Su Mo imprisoned in the Void Tower. What happened? Su Mo's soul is now in the Void Tower. How can his body appear here? Moreover, this person is so strong, the power released by his physical body alone is frightening. Even now, Su Yang is still afraid. Good. The owner of this body is none other than Su Mo. However, now, it is the old poisonous person Lin Yuan who controls Su Mo's body. Just during the day, when Su Yang started the transformation of ancient martial arts, he also opened the seal that suppressed Su Mo's physical body. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, took advantage of the chaos and went to the back mountain of Liudang. After a lot of effort, he finally found Su Mo's physical body and successfully took possession of the ancestor's body. As for Lin Yuan's own body, he casually threw it aside. %s at G%*at. After taking control of Su Mo's body, Lin Yuan felt that he was extremely powerful. The power of his physical body was almost equal to the peak of the pill formation. I am afraid that no one in the entire earth could be his opponent. Therefore, Lin Yuan was ecstatic and full of confidence. He directly controlled Su Mo's body and came to Su Yang, intending to take away the Void Tower and obtain the soul of his ancestor Su Mo. Since it is this body that is powerful, Lin Yuan's true state has not reached the level of pill formation. Therefore, Lin Yuan will not suffer from ominous troubles and does not suffer at all. But this body has obviously exceeded the scope allowed by the rules of heaven and earth. Therefore, after the 9 revolutions of heaven transformation formation was opened, the body was ravaged by the ominous forces of heaven and earth and was completely damaged. But Lin Yuan is not really integrated with the body, so he can't feel it. Now, he can use the peak combat power of the Dan Dan without having to worry about unknown attacks. Only Lin Yuan could feel that this situation could not last long. In a day or two at most, the body of ancestor Su Mo would be completely destroyed by an unknown force. By then, Lin Yuan's soul will inevitably be severely damaged, and he will not even have the chance to return to his original body. Only death awaits him. Simply, Lin Yuan is confident that within this time, he can take away the Void Tower from the descendants of the Su family. The Void Tower is a good thing, it has the ability to suppress ominous things, and the ancestor Su Mo is also in the Void Tower. Lin Yuan has already made a plan. If he can activate the Void Tower and suppress the ominousness in this body, then everything will be simple. I worked so hard for this opportunity and found this body. I couldn't just give it back to Su Mo for no reason. If I had the chance to truly possess this body, why would I need to rely on my ancestors? Wouldn't I be invincible in the world? When the time comes, use the Void Tower to suppress the omen, and slowly merge with the ancestor's body. Ha ha ha, it feels good just thinking about it. Besides, the soul of the ancestor is also in the Void Tower. If he controls the Void Tower, he will definitely not let him out easily. When the time comes, if you torture him first and find an opportunity to devour Sumo's soul and completely eat his memory, wouldn't you become the most powerful person under the starry sky? With this thought in his mind, Lin Yuan looked at Su Yang and said calmly, "Haha, Mr. Su, you mentioned the name of my ancestor. It seems that you have already talked to my ancestor. However, this body is none other than Su Mo, but I am not Su Mo. Are you the old poison?" Su Yang's consciousness was amazing, and he could vaguely detect the aura of the old poison. Good. Lin Yuan showed a smile and continued, "Compared to the old poison, I prefer others to call me Juju Zi. Snort. Su Yang met Lin Yuan's gaze, his face as dark as water, and asked, "Where did you get this body, and what is your relationship with Su Mo?" "Haha, I'm really sorry for you." Lin Yuan raised the corners of his mouth and said with a playful smile, "The formation you activated this afternoon is not only related to the transformation of ancient martial arts, but also suppressed this body. After the formation was activated, this body was no longer subject to any restrictions. I followed Sumo's guidance and naturally found this place." Lin Yuan continued, "As for my relationship with Su Mo, haha, in fact, it was Su Mo who established us in the depths of the clouds, so he is considered the ancestor of my family. The reason why I came to Wudang Mountain this time is for you to start the transformation of ancient martial arts, release the ancestor's physical body, and take advantage of the chaos to control this physical body." Lin Yuan smiled softly and said, "Now, with the blessing of the ancestor's physical body, I have reached the peak of pill formation. There is no opponent in the world." "I see." When Su Yang heard this, he said with an indifferent expression, "No wonder you asked me out and showed your kindness to me. All of this is for the smooth start of the reform of Gwu. Haha, I realize now that it's too late." Lin Yuan smiled and then said seriously, "Su Yang, for the sake of Suwuji, I will give you a chance to hand over the Void Tower. I will spare your life. Don't make it too difficult for me." Lin Yuan was still quite afraid of Suwuji. Before Suwuji disappeared, he was going through the nascent soul thunder tribulation. No one knew whether he succeeded or where he was. But when Lin Yuan digested the memories in Baidu Banner, he vaguely got a message that Suwuji seemed to be in Wudang Mountain. He didn't know whether the news was true or not, and he wasn't sure how much strength Suwuji still had now. Therefore, Lin Yuan didn't want to get too serious with the Su family, lest it lead to a fight to the death. "Void Tower," Su Yang frowned and said, "What do you want the Void Tower for?" "Of course it is to rescue the ancestor Su Mo," Lin Yuan responded, but that was not what he thought in his heart. "Well, the Void Tower is the most precious treasure of my Su family. If you want it, it depends on whether you have the ability," Su Yang said in a deep voice, while mobilizing the spiritual energy in his body. Today, Su Yang has stepped into the realm of foundation building. If he goes all out, he will have no problem dealing with the peak of foundation building, but he will not be able to compete with Lin Yuan. Therefore, Su Yang grimly stared at Lin Yuan, looking for an opportunity to take action. "Haha, Su Yang, I know you have many methods, but as far as I know, your strongest method is to mobilize the 5 elements chain formation in Wudang Mountain." Lin Yuan seemed to have understood Su Yang, and smiled softly, "Unfortunately, I found that the 5 elements continuous formation no longer has spiritual energy to support it. In other words, your strongest method has been abolished, and you can no longer activate the 5 elements continuous formation. In this state, even if you forcefully activate the Void Tower, you still can't be my opponent," Lin Yuan said with a playful smile.